Welcome to Movies in the Making. In today's episode, we are going to be looking at the 1968 science fiction film 2001, A Space Odyssey, originally released by Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer and directed by Stanley Kubrick. Here, we will dive deep into the story of the production of this film. This is widely considered to be one of the best films ever made. It being such a long film, it had such a long production. By the time we finish discussing what happened, you may feel as though you have entered a psychedelic vortex. So, sit back and enjoy the show. You are all in for a ride that will make you feel old. 2001 A Space Odyssey was distributed by Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, MGM, due to their strong working relationship with director Stanley Kubrick. Kubrick valued creative control, and MGM, with its established distribution network, was the perfect partner to handle the film's release, while allowing Kubrick to focus on perfecting it. MGM provided the financial and logistical support needed for such an ambitious project, helping 2001 reach a wide audience and become a groundbreaking film in the science fiction genre. 2001 was inspired by two short stories by co-screenwriter Arthur C. Clarke, The Sentinel, published 1951, and Encounter in the Dawn, published 1953. In 1964, Clarke and Kubrick began collaborating on a screenplay based on The Sentinel, leading to the creation of the film. Filming for 2001 began in late 1965 at Shepperton Studios and continued at the MGM British Studios in Boreham Wood. Kubrick was still making changes to the film, with final adjustments being made as late as April 1968, completing a project that had taken 4 years to create. Kier Dullea's casting for the role of protagonist Dave Bauman was unique, as he was not required to audition but instead received an unexpected phone call offering him the role. At the time, he was working on a different film and had no idea he was being considered for Kubrick's project. Dullea, who had previously built a career in television and film, accepted the offer. Though other actors like George Hamilton, James Coburn, and Rod Taylor were considered, Dullea's serious and intense acting style made him the right fit for the role. Meanwhile, the iconic voice of HAL 9000 in 2001 was initially intended to be performed by other actors before it was ultimately given to Douglas Rain. Early on, actor Martin Balsam was cast for the role, and there was some early buzz around his involvement in the project. However, Kubrick was not satisfied with Balsam's portrayal of the artificial intelligence. It was only later in the process that Rain, a Canadian actor known for his deep and calm voice, was chosen for the role. Rain's delivery brought a cold, methodical quality of Hal that became crucial to the character's unsettling presence in the film. His performance, marked by its calm yet ominous tone, helped cement Hal as one of the most memorable and chilling characters of the science fiction genre. The Dawn of Man sequence in the film, inspired by Clarke's Encounter in the Dawn, shows the evolution of early primates and includes one of the most famous cinematic match cuts. Its remarkable production design, led by Anthony Masters, Harry Lang, and Ernest Archer, and innovative visual effects, including its use of slit scan developed by Douglas Trumbull, and front projection, helped bring Clarke's vision to life, especially in the Dawn of Man sequence. The film's groundbreaking visual effects were the result of the work of many talented individuals, including Trumbull, Wally Weavers, Tom Howard, and director Kubrick himself, whose unique vision and dedication made the film a masterpiece. To achieve the groundbreaking visuals for this sequence, Kubrick used innovative techniques such as front projection, which allowed live-action shots to be combined with background footage filmed in a Namib desert. Despite technical challenges, Kubrick's precise attention to detail, especially in lighting and set design, helped to piece the film together. Filming on location in Southwest Africa was challenging for several reasons, including the difficulty of transporting a large crew to such a remote area, Kubrick's fear of flying, uncertainty about conditions, and the high costs. Despite these challenges, Kubrick was determined to use the location and did not want to rely on painted backdrops. Instead, a small crew was sent to capture background footage, which would later be combined with live-action shots filmed in a studio. Traditional methods like rear projection or blue screen were not suitable for the scale and quality Kubrick desired for the Dawn of Man sequence, so they decided to use front projection to combine the background footage with live-action scenes faultlessly. Front projection was a new concept, but it had never been used on such a large scale in a major film before. Kubrick wanted to shoot live-action scenes on a set in front of a screen, onto which background footage would be projected to create the desired effect. The screen was made of highly reflective Scotch-Light material, which helped project the background with the necessary clarity. Initial tests using 4x5 transparencies were not good enough, so Kubrick insisted on using larger 8x10 transparencies, despite there being no projector capable of handling them. In 1966, a small team went to Southwest Africa to capture the background footage on these large-scale transparencies, which would later be used in the film. Back in England, MGM special effects expert Tom Howard worked with Kubrick to build a projector that could project the large transparencies with the required quality. The projector was powerful enough to handle the size of the transparencies, but it also produced enough heat to damage them, so the crew had to be very careful while filming, only using selected shots to avoid ruining the film. 2001: A Space Odyssey used large, detailed models to portray spaceships. These models varied in size, with some being 2 meters wide and the largest, the Discovery 1, measuring 17 meters or 55 feet. The models were filmed in both still and moving shots, and then the footage was combined with other elements using various techniques. In some cases, the effects team had to use rotoscoping, a method of tracing images frame by frame. Kubrick based the visuals in 2001 on real scientific theories, such as the idea that artificial gravity could be created by spinning a centrifuge. To create this effect, the interior of the spacecraft, especially Discovery 1, was filmed to look like it was rotating. Kubrick spent $750,000 of his budget to build a large rotating wheel to hold the sets. The items inside had to be secured to the wheel, which would spin as needed. A camera could either rotate with the wheel or stay in place on a dolly to follow the characters. This effect made it look like people were walking on walls or the room was spinning. There were challenges with this setup, like in a scene where actor Gary Lockwood, who portrayed Dr. Frank Poole, had to be strapped to his seat as the room moved around him. In some scenes, the rotation was used to create the illusion of weightlessness, like when the stewardess appears to walk up the wall, with the camera turning along with the room to keep the set looking still. In 2001, the weightlessness of Bauman and Poole is shown throughout the film to depict the zero-gravity environment. This effect was created using wires and clever camera angles. Actors or stunt people were suspended on wires, with the camera filming from the opposite side to hide the wires, which were then moved by stagehands off-screen. In some scenes, slow-motion capture was used to enhance the effect. However, one exception is when a pen floats in the air inside the space shuttle. For this scene, a stewardess uses specialty shoes to walk over and grab the pen, which was actually stuck to a piece of glass with double-sided tape. The glass was then rotated and moved to create the illusion of floating. One of the most stunning special effects in 2001: A Space Odyssey is the Stargate sequence, which became famous for its mind-bending visuals. This effect was created using a technique called slit-scan photography, along with filming paints and chemicals moving in a pool. While slit-scan had been used before, special effects supervisor Douglas Trumbull adapted and improved it for the film. The technique involves filming through a narrow slit, but Trumbull innovated by moving the slit outside the camera, making it inside out. Kubrick used thousands of different geometric images, optical illusion paintings, and even electron microscope photos to create the effect. To achieve the look, the room had to be completely dark, with light shining on the artwork opposite the camera. Kubrick also used color filters and other production techniques to give the sequence its psychedelic, otherworldly appearance. While making 2001, Kubrick originally planned to use the score that composer Alex North would make. North had previously worked with Kubrick on Spartacus, Universal Pictures' 1960. He even composed a grand sunrise sequence for the film. However, Kubrick decided to abandon North's score without informing him. North only found out while he attended the film's premiere. Instead, Kubrick sent someone to find classical music in record shops and ultimately chose pieces by composers Johann Strauss, György Ligeti, and Richard Strauss. The famous Also Sprach Zarathustra by Strauss was used at key moments in the film, marking important points in human progress. This piece, especially its opening, became widely recognized after the film's release. In 2001, the appearance of the mysterious black monolith is accompanied by the Kyrie from György Ligeti's 1965 Requiem. The Requiem is intense and haunting, reflecting the composer's personal trauma as a Jewish man whose family members were killed in Nazi death camps. Kubrick did not seek Ligeti's permission to use his music, which led to some initial conflict and threats of legal action. However, the two eventually reached a mutual understanding, both appreciating each other's perfectionist approach to their work. Along with Requiem, Kubrick also used Ligeti's atmospheres and Lux Eterna Adventures, Nouvelle Adventures, for the film's final scene. As of New Year's Day 2025, 2001 A Space Odyssey has a 92 critics rating on Rotten Tomatoes, an 84 out of 100 rating on Metacritic, an 8.3 rating on IMDb, and a 4.3 rating on Letterboxd. The film's budget was $12 million and it grossed a total of almost $67 million following its release date of 3rd of April 1968. In 2010, the Moving Arts Film Journal helmed it as the greatest film of all time. Also, in 2022, 480 filmmakers conducting a poll for the British magazine Sight and Sound ranked 2001 A Space Odyssey at first place as the greatest film of all time. And that wraps up our deep dive into the making of 2001 A Space Odyssey. We have journeyed through difficulty Kubrick had with filming in Southwest Africa, the rotating sets used for filming, and how the music that gained popularity for featuring in the film was first included in the film. 2001 A Space Odyssey was more than just a film, it was an influential science fiction story that continues to inspire filmmakers and scholars to this day. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon to stay updated on all things movies in the making. Let us know in the comments what you think of 2001 A Space Odyssey, or if you have any favorite moments from the film that we did not touch upon, or what films you would like to hear covered by this channel. Also be sure to check out our community page, where we announce what films will be talked about by this channel each week. New posts arrive every Friday. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all next time on Movies in the Making, where we will be talking about Citizen Kane, RKO Radio Pictures 1941, and more films to follow along the way. Tune in for more Movies in the Making as we uncover the stories behind cinema's most unforgettable films. This has been Jason Scotchmer, film enthusiast and passionate about the arts.